everyone, and welcome to the night's episode of Plight Princess. It has been a while.
Been a while.
Thank you. When last we left off, our party having a paladin's rebranded oath going away from retribution towards an oath of a watcher becoming a paladin of Primus, the god of Mechanus. A player having drawn a card to have claimed their own castle in their domain, and a player who drew a card to allow them to rewrite one instant moment in reality. All happen to be at the same place. You get the backstory of your party's elven wizard who has an affinity to necromancy and is half decrepit as is, being possessed over by what was most likely at one point potentially the owner of the body or someone who was shoved in, and began monologuing of great detail of the worship of Orcus, Vecna, the Changeling War, and the War of the Lich, only for that entire thing to be said, nah, and it gets Una reversed quite literally, and King was never present, causing these events to never happen. However, Runara, the cleric of the party, had this information and began trying to convey it to her party. This did not backfire in any way, shape, or form when they attempted to say, let's let the paladin, who is most well known with the queen of the city of Neverwinter, to actually be the one to give the information. Runara, getting there first, blew it all at her, more or less nearly causing an entire scene, getting the scene deflated slightly until Wittig showed up. Wittig having to bury deeper in order to make it work, but in fairness to it, reconciling a portion of it until eventually the rest of the party showed up. This is all the while a fiendish individual was spending their time in Neverwinter Keep, being an absolute little bastard as they always are. This is a sibling of Legacy, and one of the children of Asmodeus, one of the 13. Examining over one of the spires of Lakith. These items are things which have been left about the world after Blackith and a number of Gith assaulted Neverwinter, but apparently had also assaulted multiple other places across the Prime Material and the planes themselves, and have abducted multiple individuals. Legacy seems to have called in some family assistance after one of her sons was brought back via a divine intervention spell. From there, the fiend was drinking to themselves and began talking to the party, outstretching their arms and giving out these details in this tight leather attire they have on at present. The skin goes slightly from shades of purple to shades of red, and their horns curve out, but unlike Legacies, whose curves in a ram, these ones curve back and curve up more to a sharper point. Looked around to all of you as they begin talking. I think a change of scenery might suit the current discussions a little bit more marvelously. If you all don't mind, you are being invited, so I do need to check in before, after you let you agree to come. If you don't want to, there's the door, and points to the exit out of the hall.
Where are we going?
I'll tell you where you're not going. You're not staying on the Prime Material, and you're not going to hell. You're going to a demi-plane which is very particularly difficult to be scryed upon. Because
Right.
I like having my conversations kept private. Inside check them away. I could also roll a 1, so I do need to get my dice.
I
Always
actually
roll a one,
You
Das.
can
I
always
accidentally
roll a
had
one.
GM roll on my mobile one, so but it does make it an 8 overall. So
That is a 3, so we do end up getting up to about 24 with that. So
Devils.
Son of Asmodeus, the Cambion, the fuckboy, the liar, the politician.
he plays the light.
Not the intimidator, though. That's not his job. Runara, you're trying to get a assertion of them, but just you cannot tell fiction from fact in regards to the intent of their word just by the charisma of what they're saying, the way they're presenting themselves. Just
Posey, where were you at? Sorry, are you with us right now?
Oh yeah, I'm with you guys.
I'm just gonna look to Posey and be like, should we go to
Think
this
so.
place?
Um,
Sure.
I'm in.
Speaking of charisma, I think I did do a roll for you before death as to
hang on, let me roll through 6,000 death saves.
Okay.
History check. That was the last one you rolled.
I think I whispered a roll to you before.
Before that again, let's see. I'm seeing just history checks and history checks. I've only seen a history check from you.
It
Perception,
was-
Perception, wisdom. There it is. I could see a 15.
Yes. Essentially what I would determine as Lowe's pretty face check.
It is a very pretty face. Their gender is yes. Whatever they feel like in the moment.
And I was curious as to what a 15 would
Well.
essentially mean for Lowe.
It's not like you have a DC on whether or not you fall for people. I'll let you decide on whether or not the most attractive red-skinned individual you've ever seen in the room, strapped up in gorgeous leather and using all these sultry words, would attract you or not. That's up to Lo. Get into it. Let's find out.
What I will say in that case then is Lowe is basically biting his lip because he's both slightly intimidated and slightly turned on, but he's not entirely sure.
At the
Yes.
same time.
But it's more the thing of I'm turned on and I don't actually understand why I am.
It's an awakening.
Yeah.
Evil knowledge, the gay.
So he's essentially biting his lip, but of course I remember from the last session Lo was trying to protect Kika.
Yeah, you're next to Kika. It's
But
like,
but
distract from confusion by supporting small friend.
so his hand will be slightly trembling. It's more he's clinging on to Kika more for emotional support than actually protecting. Yeah.
Just clung onto you there, Kika. As so, I'm not seeing any objections.
Just remind me
No,
why
there's
we're
no
going
way.
in here again. It's out of character. Just
They wanted to say something to you, but they want to do it privately.
Just in relation to the news that regarding.
No, this is to do with the spires.
Fires here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna look at Posey and be like, I'm gonna wait outside, but let me know what happens. Okay.
Celestials and their boy.
And I'm gonna.
You'd be
step up.
fine. I know you're.
No,
you
it's
got
okay.
You got their touch, but you're fine.
I've got some. It's fine. I've got some things I need to do anyway. Do you know how long you'll be? I'll come back.
Come
Or-
on, why can't I do one of those? Sorry?
Do you know how long? What?
What?
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know?
You sure you don't want to stay?
Oh no, I'll come back later. It's fine.
Oh,
I'm
you'll?
gonna,
Yeah, you will.
I'm gonna go. And I'll start
Okay.
walking out the room.
And they just do a little click to.
Question. um,
They entirely lean back, by the way, into the chairs they were, just like all
I-
the way.
I know that I swapped out a spell. It's not anything specifically from the level up thing. I think I swapped out friends
I
for
might want to worry about that
message.
one in a little bit, but I think you did swap out friends for message.
Yeah. What I was going to
Or-
ask, what I was going to ask was, would Lo have access to that?
No, because the level up hasn't happened yet.
Right. Okay. Never mind then.
Yeah, because we haven't had a long rest at all yet.
Yeah, because
Not
I was going to do it.
technical
I was going to do it
I
as a
mean,
funny bit,
One of
but
you
there we go.
motherfuckers reset it, so you pushed me back. So
That's true.
So you can hold off on doing your message.
Actually, no. I am going to cast Protection from Good and Evil on myself.
Perfectly fair.
We're doing this.
Okay.
Are you going? And he's pointing out Bluebird as are you going?
I guess.
Okay,
I'll
okay,
go
okay.
if you go.
Energy is just rimpling off the tops of their fingers, just like, okay, so you're good, you're good. Tin Man, you good?
Yes.
Okay.
That was Kurt.
Sure was.
Let's see. Is the corpse coming?
Kind of.
I take it that's referring to me.
He's pointing at you, yes.
I just nod.
And
There's
the
no
druid.
way. No, there's no way. Sorry.
Hippie boy, you coming with? Ali, that's for you.
Huh?
Ollie?
Sorry, you keep mentioning different names. I'm like, what's going on?
You said druid. That's
Happy
you.
boy.
You're the party druid.
Well, yeah.
This is the one thing. It's the one group. It's like you're the only one here who's a druid, then.
You're also the only one who's a
hippie.
hippie.
Maybe. Yeah, no, you are right. Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm coming along.
Okay. All right. Holy girl, we're probably gonna be maybe. Time won't matter for you. And just snaps. And Renara, you're outside the room, and it just gets enveloped in shadow. And after a hot second, it's just empty. Entire room is empty.
I was gonna say, did like Legacy and that come?
Legacy and Sildar both came.
Okay.
So there's no royalty
No
in
one
the
there,
castle.
okay.
The royal throne is empty.
Where
Yeah,
are
the
the?
Executioners are to your left and right.
Yeah, all the invisible fucking Kingsguard are probably here still.
No, they're not invisible. They're standing right next to you.
Oh, where are the? Where did just run away? The archmages that were here. Did they all fuck
Also
off back? They went as well. Okay.
There was only one present at this moment, and he went.
Yes, I'm gonna go to whatever tavern we're in and just chill.
Okay.
Wherever the horses and shit are. They was in a tavern somewhere, right?
You can find. Well, no, your horses were left.
Where did we leave them?
In the next
Lost.
town.
Port Lost.
Port Lost.
Really? I thought we brought
I
them
mean,
here.
we were staying here at
'cause
the capital.
You floated with a whale.
We took the
so-
whale to get to Neverwinter.
Oh, 'cause we took the
We left them with
we took the flying castle to Port Lost and then went from
Right.
there, right? Right.
Yep.
Okay.
But the carts were taken on the tower. I love that without context. It's like, how did the tower take the carts?
Everything that happens to us is ridiculous.
Yes.
This is the joy of D&D. This is the game I signed up for.
So, all together, Crow and Valharo, Legacy, Sildar Hallwinter, and you, group of misfits, all get a veil of shadow washes over you, and then the temperature rises. And as it rises, it almost becomes uncomfortable for a lot of you. Almost. And wind picks up. It sweeps right past. You can feel the gust. And you're in a banquet hall. The table is set. There is meat, boar, chicken, bread, pies, everything. Anything you could really want. The seats are all furnished with this beautiful red leather with these yellow studs pinning them down to the actual wood of the frame and up at the back of the seats as well. The fiend just steps in, sits themselves down, puts their feet up, and just reaches for a jug and begins pouring for their own glass. And you can begin hearing just some giggling from a far room just off to their back and right. No, it's business. Business, loves. Talk to you in a bit. He just continues pouring. As you're all just sat there, Legacy sits up next to him, and as she does, Sildar stands next to her until there's a moment of, no, you're the old one. It just like he sits down, gets the seat, and she stands next to him. And the rest of you were brought in also. Let's move you over.
Ooh.
Don't love that there's a map for this.
Yeah. That's specific.
Because normally when there's a map, that's bad.
Yeah. Where are Legacy and Sildar sitting?
Looks comfortable.
Sure. I hate that I'm going to do this, but this is my instinct.
Oh, bold. A bold choice.
Yeah, it's my instinct, even though there's multiple things here that I don't like.
They just flick up their hand, and one of the glasses that they just begin pouring just slides towards you. Before you ask, it is actually wine. We're not like that here.
We're not going by Fey rules, are we?
I will only take that as a compliment, because the Fae are marvelously
Trying to remember how to drag my token on.
chanting, but no, I don't have those rules. We don't have those rules. I guess it's a fair thing to say is, what do you think when you think of devils? About what we do. What do you think we do to you mortals?
Mischief and trouble?
Some of them. That's usually on the imps. Well, people like me, what we do, we don't trick mortals. We don't beguile. We just offer indulgence of their baser desires. We do not create something new. We don't make a monster overnight. We just let him do what he wants. Whatever's the byproduct of that is the byproduct of that. So then, let's open a window, and they just slap down their hand, and the right side of this map that you see there just falls away. Literally as if the entire wall just snaps off, like broken. The wind picks up a little bit more, and you can just see out over a vast array of a massive city. Before we begin, you are in one of my houses. You are my guests. You are more than welcome to indulge yourself as you like here. Not going to restrict you, not going to put any pressures, not going to tempt, as he looks towards Legacy, who has a scowl to his eyes. She's talking about this. But you're also under my protection here. Mortals just fleeting about, it would be unhealthy. As. How do I best describe? You're being looked after by someone. If you don't have someone to look after you, someone will look after you. Whether or not you choose is where the problems begin. If you're powerful enough to come here and be of your own abide in the city of Dis, then that's entirely up to your own purview. So, let's speak here. These spires, I got a little checked in with Daddy about these. Not the biggest fan, because two of them have been already linked to two different planes. And the Celestials are all barking their superiority and their self-righteousness, thinking we stole people from them, and that people have been stolen from the water, and from air, and earth, and fire, and the Fae, and the Shadowfell, and all of it. But we didn't do none of this. And the demons? Much too disorganized to get this level of a clever once. This was the thing. You could pick away a prince of the plains, you could pick away a prince of the hells, you could pick away a prince of the heavens, and all those things. You could do it very easily. But someone did it simultaneously on every plane and got a lovely little cradle of them in your little city. So, there's a lot of powerful people who are not comfortable with someone breaking that kind of standard. A lot of people would love to pay a visit to that kind of person. Now, these, and they're just like at the tip of their finger, holding, it's like a needle with the heavy pit up to the top onto their finger. These were all made by something which shouldn't be allowed, because anyone who would have made this should have been killed in the harvesting of it. Shouldn't have even gotten that close, but somehow they're successfully mining these. Shouldn't be allowed. Another rule's getting broken. Another cardinal rule. Another old rule. A lot of the planes have issues with physically getting to the material plane. I had to be invited by Sister Dearest. Whereas Primus, for example, if he wanted to drop one of his inevitables or one of his rule keepers or something like that, either a rule that gets signed off in Mechanus, in the Halls of Order, has to have been broken, that the inevitable who it was built onto gets sent, or a lich gets dropped out here. A lich who does not have certain rules and protections to experiment. So all these kind of ones. We all have rules. And the Fae, they'll wither if they stay too long. Flowers uprooted, they don't last.
Upon
Unless they have a new pot.
upon saying that, Lo offers a hand to Pug and then sort of tries to tuck him carefully into the inside of his coat.
Oh, that's not even really him. Now don't get me wrong, his full attention's drawn to you, that's how he works. But the real Puck is back in the Fae. That's just a portion of him that gets sent to talk to you. And that's all his attention is drawn to you. He works just for you, make no mistake, but that's not fully him. It's only a portion. Giant slave comfort hug.
I'll catch
Was for Stanji.
I'll happily pause for Sanji. So, there's a new development and a new plan with these little spires. You see, teleporting to certain places gets a lot easier when you have something up there to use. We believe these all got made in the same place. So, very interested in what happens if enough of them get collected and shared about to certain people. So that all at once people can come paying a visit to the same place. Just like somebody decided to pay a visit to so many others at the same time. I'm sure you care about the people who got taken. Honestly, I get it, they're my nephews. But there's a lot of other people there that, quite frankly, I have no reason to care for. It's not a malicious thing. I just have no reason to. Does my father care that his grandchildren got taken? Potentially. Could my grandfather care that a portion of himself was taken by the fact of his grandchildren being taken? Potentially. Was the fact someone had the audacity to take his grandchildren? Potentially. Any one of those. But it's the fact that it's been done to so many at the same time. We'd love to have a few mortals running around to do it, and I know that's what you're intending. So, Leggy dear, we're going to have to make an agreement that there's a lot of people who, if your friends manage to give these spires to, one to certain people, if they get to go to different planes and give them in, there's a few people who have been incentivized to reward them for it. For example, pretty sure one of these is tied to the Hells. Maybe not this one. Maybe not that one. Maybe not them all. Maybe one. Maybe them. But the Hell one, for example, I have something I can give to you for it. The one of Elemental Plane of Air. I'm sure you could speak to a servant of a sultan and get that resolved, considering Samoshi is, what's it, son of the sultan, grandson of the sultan, so there's a few tiers down that we're going there with little Puffy boy. So, rather than just keeping them and having them all in the same place, which, by the way, I don't blame you for having your hesitations in your face, that puts a huge target on your back. But if you're able to just send them off to certain people, rewards could be given. Neat little toys or tricks from the different places.
That's stuff like what I say. I've still got the rod in the bag of holding. Just for reference.
You have your rod in the bag of holding.
Yeah, just because
Which
you
is why
refer
they're-
to other rods, so I would
Yeah,
make sure that
they're
you know that.
vaguely throwing up. They have the one currently.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, go on.
can I ask?
They just essentially they almost lean their full body onto the table, kind of.
Posey distracts from the fact that probably Legacy and Sildar are looking at her by pulling full attention on the.
And the
this
full
devil.
attention is given.
You said that these were harvested. Like, what are they? Naturally, I mean.
Well, what they're used for, first, is they're used as sources for arcane magic, focused in condensed. But what they are... Okay. Fair question to ask. What happens to a dead god?
I look at King.
That was a trick question. If any of you did know the answer to that, I'd be very fucking concerned. The astral
There are
sea.
theories.
That's where they go. The DC is higher, actually.
I mean-
Unfortunately, I love you.
DC
but a 21 to
30.
damage. No, DC 25.
Ah, so close.
There's no way I was gonna be able to get that then,
Don't
even
hit
with
a roll,
the
but I'm not
snap.
gonna-
I would have given you a point.
Pretty sure it'd be a religion check anyway, wouldn't it?
Probably.
Probably.
Who knows?
I was just.
I'll give it a roll.
I love you. I love. I've already said the DC. I'm not. I'll raise it higher for you. Fuck it. Roll, you bastard. Roll a religion check, King.
No.
No fucking clue.
Nope, no idea.
Sadie had her medicine.
Yes.
So,
No.
No.
the astral sea is where the dead gods go, and they float there. So you've probably heard a rumbling that the city of the Gith is built on the body of a long dead god. That's the city of Dunarat. You can't find it, you can't get to it. However, the kids did some shady shit in many aeon past, or maybe she just did it, or maybe she hasn't done it yet. This is the problem with places like that. When doesn't matter. It's happened. Whether it was then, now, or ahead of time. She's more or less gotten ownership of it. Not a contract or anything else, but she's bound it to her. Because dead gods aren't dead. They're just waiting. They're just waiting for somebody or enough people to remember them. Question for you. We'll see if you can get this one, because I like these ones. These are fun. How do you become a god? What is the most important, what's the base thing you need to be a god?
Belief.
Close.
Oh.
You're very close. You're on number 2. Number 1, it's gotta be fucking powerful.
That's what I was gonna say.
Well,
You have power.
I figured that's a
you
given,
fucking
but
believe. No.
Yeah.
Give you an idea. There's thousands upon thousands of people who believe in Sildar as a king. Why doesn't he have some sort of divine power?
no.
He doesn't. Because, silly, I love you, baby, but you are just a man. You're a great man. You're a smart man. Apparently, you've got a great one for. And you just see legs. Stop! Alright. Just complimenting your husband. Fine, dang. He's just a man. He's not like you, for example. Legacy. How aren't you more powerful? Because you can't be. That's a lot of things. But the one rule he isn't is a god. You don't have that kind of power. But the Lady of Waterdeep. What's she? She's not a god. But she's been worshipped for hundreds upon hundreds of years. People have a belief in her, and she has something at the divine level of power. Born, created from the remnants of an aspect of one, but she has a power, so she's above some of these. She's also not stupid enough to run around and have a bunch of kids. That's power going to something else, not keeping it for yourself. And the children tend to kill the parents. At least I think in some of the pantheons they do. They can be a bit bad for that. Ugh.
Yeah, some gods of war usually hate that kind of pantheon. Yeah.
No, I don't think Tyr does. No, I think Tyr's okay with that actually. No.
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, lost his hand to his, like, you know, one. I don't even think it's a relative, but one of his. I can get nothing for one. Anyway. Anyway. Their portions, people believe, and I believe it's not a too bad a hypothesis, their portions crafted from Dunara. because the god's so dead for so long, doesn't have a name anymore. No name. She's renamed it. It's become hers. And she's harvested from it, dug deep into its core. Because that's the thing. If you look out into the night sky, you see suns in the distance from thousands and thousands and thousands for whatever dimension it could be. But so much that's up there is just the husks of gods floating. Some get anchored to places. Some don't. Some are trapped. Some are bound. And then you got guys like Orcus who just wake the fuck back up. Which was a fucking kit and caboodle when that happened. What they think. But all the higher ups think. She's dug in, and she's gotten power from it, and she's used that to be able to anchor to multiple planes at the same time, and rob, and just steal people, and attack with the same force at the same time, all in different places. So, grabbing these little spires, one more suited to each individual plane, but all made from the same place, all the same source, and going to return to sender on it. Everyone goes in at the same time, teach the bitch a lesson. We all get our people back, you all get your people back. Everyone wins. And also, if you're wondering why I chose this place, that's not this. That's just silhouetting for the moment. He just like starts putting the feet up on the table. All right, you pompous prick, you may as well get out. As just sits themselves down and parks themselves in place. And all at once, you blink, and there's a brightness. It's prolonged. It's almost this ringing in your ear. You can see nothing. You are flooded by white. All at once. And when it ends, the room is changed. You're no longer, it's the exact same decor, but you look out and you're no longer seeing out into the city's abyss. You're no longer seeing this abyssal silhouette. You're seeing spires of mountains rising up, ringed with clouds, different points and different heights all about. Clouds and gorgeous, beautiful night, all at once. And the figure in the room is this tall, massive figure that all at once you stare at, but you physically can't stare for too long. Not for the sake of looking, but like a presence almost pulling you away. The wings unfurl with just dozens of eyes all across. Let's see. Let's do this for fun. Let's see. Wittick, Kika, King, make religion checks.
It.
Religion? Ugh. Oh,
Loud
okay.
in the party.
Let's see. That's
I would say that low is otherwise.
you just got flashbanged.
Yeah, low is otherwise engaged in other thoughts at the moment. I'll get to that later.
You've heard rumor of what a solar is. in that they are sent by celestial individuals to resolve issues on other planes. Kika, you've been taught it because 6 times out of 10 it's probably safe to be near one. Figure looks towards all of you. This shard in itself of radiant power. And you can see the figure has this long black hair that goes back over its shoulders and down over its front. The wings are almost like peacock adorning on the eyes, but on the wings, but it's almost just a long, white, almost golden color. They don't seem to blink, but they have the patterning of eyes all about. Their left hand is missing, and in the right hand is what would be for them a long sword, would be for any of you probably closer to a sword the size that Wittick has. The fiend, eyes closed, wincing as it's happening. I need to be dramatic, you big bastard. Okay. This is where we really are. And don't know about you, and as they begin talking, just like the hand, and it's less of a case of a hand of equal size, but a case of like a full-grown, massive man putting their hand over a child's face, just silence. Sword just floating. The face is dignified, but seems like they've been withstanding this engagement for a period. Children of Pharaoh. This has been a challenging endeavor. However, I understand you may have hesitations about all of this, but at present it is proven difficult for any beyond the planes to arrive in yours. Something of it is the only way to describe as if there is an additional wall that must be pushed through or clambered over. And there is a challenge. But it has changed, but not eased, with spires being moved from where they were placed. These spires, almost as if anchors to this plane, lifted up, alleviating the veil. It may be difficult for me to. And here's the thing to say. The Solar is speaking. You're all hearing the most base language you know. Your most internal base to soul language. At the same time, it's the exact same. It is the air, elemental aura kind of language for you. Kika, I'm struggling with it. You know what I mean, though.
Are you speaking
Fiendish.
Arakocran, which is such
You know
a
what I
funny,
mean.
that's such a funny mental image of this glorious angel just going. "Ah!"
I mean, it has wings.
Or it could be
You're
just
speaking. It's speaking fiendish to you. Love.
Oh God.
Rip.
And crisis.
Rip.
Crisis.
That's to give you an idea. It's giving the basis languages. King, you are getting Elvish.
I'm
And-
sorry, I'm just picturing this giant god, and then suddenly, as they speak, it's just no, it's for Kika. It's just a sparrow singing.
Yeah. That's such a funny mental image.
Sorry, I'll shut up now. I'm having a crisis. Don't worry about it.
To say that your task has been one thrust upon you unfairly would be an understatement. However, I believe that one of your spires is tied to the heavens. Whilst the promise was thrown loosely by my associate, what I will declare my offer, as I know they are tied to some of you, and just begins pointing and is deliberately moving, not pointing but gesturing out a hand towards Kika, towards Widdick. If you return the spire, which I believe to be the tongue of its land is now gone from me, and they just wave out a hand, and into the silhouette of the air, just out comes a map of just like a portion of the Sword's Coast. Land south of the Eye of the All Father, before the wood. There is one there, on what will be a long road by a valley. That one, I believe to be tied to the Celestial. Find that one. I believe, under discussion, a channel can be opened to present this to my claim. We will aid you in a personal endeavor to return to you your defender's favor.
Of character Das.
Yes.
This is the one we have, isn't it? And that Renara's
No.
got. Okay.
No.
You don't know if it is or not. But they're speaking of where the Eye of the All
Yeah.
Father is.
That's
Yeah, I thought it was up that way.
There's another
No,
one
Eye of the
there.
All-Father is north, but further over in the east. The one that we found was over in the west.
Because yeah,
Is it
because the one we
with
were.
Lockwood?
Potentially, that
The one
sounds
close
right.
to Lurkwood.
Right.
The
The
Lurkwood,
one-
East Mirabar.
the Lurkwood is south of the Eye of the All-Father.
So
let you
fair
guys-
point, we don't
List-
have that one.
Yeah.
The list that I've got is where Imrith's
I'll
lair.
show you the map later.
Got it.
Yeah.
Frog, I've
I'll
got
show
it.
you the map. I'll show you
Nope,
the map
don't worry.
later. Fine.
Don't worry.
If you do that, you return. And at that point, the fiend just kind of like grabbing like the hand off the one hand. However, I think, and the map is still present, and where there was like this slight glow on the map just south of the Eye of the All Father, just a burning hot point strikes straight through on the one that will be the most furthest southeast, excuse me, on the map. That one might have very great interests to us. It's a little bit out of the way, but I'll give you all a pet. Very nice pets. What is it more as a needing advertisement? And they just put two fingers into their and whistle, and all at once you just hear and you just begin hearing like this rumbling as if something is just a constant cutting blade just on a chain. You're just erupting up to the side. You can just see this creature made of metal and flesh just landing down. The front of it is just like this flaming portion where there's just like a thin strip of metal up to a raised point on it, and the beast's torso, which is controlled and contorted with a saddle across it, and at the back then another portion almost like a wheel again. Stuff like that. You'd never have to worry about traveling again. And very, very dangerous in a fight, but can be bound to be directly answering to an owner. And don't worry, what they were once, they're things that do not deserve a happy ending. And being made to help people do very good things will be things they don't like, which is why I encourage you to use them.
That's... Can I make some kind of insight check on that whole side of the table for me? That whole corner?
So,
All of these people up here.
these motherfuckers.
Because
What?
I hear what they're suggesting. I need a read on
A read on what
whether they're doing this because they think we're gullible, or whether they think it's also a good idea.
Okay, so is it the Solar and the Fiend you're doing it, or is it
And
every...
also a little bit legacy. Silver, I'm gonna be on my own, but mainly those three because they're the ones that seem to
Make
know
an
them.
insight check.
Fuck me, I'm out of luck. I forgot about that. 23.
Okay. I'll throw in Sildar because I love
Yeah,
you, buddy.
fuck
But
it.
that's not your thing.
I just need a read on the quote unquote adults at the table.
Sildar is very much so like he's looking at. He's trying to gauge your guys' reactions to some of them, seeing the disgust in the offer of the monster, but also being taken aback by it as well. The offer of course, the defenders is certainly one that piques his interest because it's hard not to, especially when it's a case of it being taken away from him as well. Legacy. She looks at the machines because love her, but she rolled one. She looks at the machines, and whilst there is definitely a contempt, there's an acknowledgement that they are. It's contempt of what they are, but it's the same way you might look at disgust at a tool that's done terrible things, but is a very useful tool. You can understand and like,
Don't really
acknowledge it.
Yeah, I don't really care so much about the pets offering because I understand why they're offering that. It's more the plan in general.
So for her, Sildar seems to be just like agreeing. It seems like the whole thing seems.
That's kind of why I expected. Love him, but that is what I expected.
He's not the expert at the table.
Nope.
Legacy is looking to the whole thing, and you can just tell that there's something in like the nugget in her chest is just in her. She's not saying anything.
No.
She just seems
Don't
uncertain
expect her
about
to.
the whole thing. The Solar, which did roll averagely, but did not roll well
So better
enough.
than me. Okay.
No, not well enough because hiding emotion is not a thing for them. They tend to keep such a bland thing that whenever there is a peak, you can spot it. Especially when you roll a 23.
Paranoid.
Is frustrated more with having to do this, but is doing it because they're being told.
Right.
And the Fiend is loving all of this.
It's having a
Is
good time.
loving the plan, is loving the fact that they have to make a Solar work with them.
Stiff.
Just being a bastard and enjoying it.
Do I... Probably I don't get a read on the devil at all. Do I get a vibe with the Solar that they're being malicious in any way?
The Solar, you've seen it before where someone has an order and they can't break the order. but there's nothing they want to do more than break the order. It's
Be a different check if I was going to ask that.
Now, if you want to roll, they're having this. This is going on for quite a bit. If you want to go
yeah.
for something else,
Is there any check I can make? Are they like under a magical compulsion?
make an Arcana check. The DC is going to be different for you than it would be for someone else, and no one else is thinking of doing this, so I'm not going to let anyone else.
I
roll.
wouldn't think to do it.
I have my own thoughts, but we haven't got to that point yet.
It's an aim-based check.
Nope. Hell nah.
Great question. You're not sure.
I'm gonna let me just make a check just for me. Oh, it's my last spell slot if this is wrong. She got right.
Smoke it if you got it.
I also don't know what this would do.
What do you intend to try and do?
I actually don't know if this would actually just hurt them, but I want to do something potentially stupid. I'm gonna cast Protection from Evil and Good on the Solar.
Okay, hit it up there to show its description.
Might do nothing. It might hurt them. I have a gut feeling that I can't ignore.
Target can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed.
You'd have to touch them to do that.
Oh fuck yeah, I would. Never mind.
Not brave enough to do that.
Would if I could think of a way to make it make
get
sense.
towards the creature with true sight and touch it.
Yeah. I would have to move in a way that wouldn't be. I thought it was 10 foot. Never mind.
Unfortunately not. But I fucking love you for thinking of it. Love you for thinking it.
No, there's more than one type of deity. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if
I will
they
say
throw
for
in
your
any
roll,
way,
though,
bear in mind that I might still think of doing it.
I will say that it's definitely a situation of if they were able to put their hand to the fiend's mouth to silence them.
Yeah.
But they weren't able to do anything beyond that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. Just don't like being here in general. Right.
But it did. I will say with your rolls and their low one, it was definitely more of a thing of an option's being presented, and it's actually a tangible thing that you might want, whereas the fiend's offering something that you might not want. Almost as if it's trying to one-up the fiend.
Okay.
Man, this could only say
Posey's paranoia spiral is happening in her brain.
Oof.
King's going to say, so is that everything?
The officer made. The plan is set.
So let me just clarify what you have just told us. The spires are part of a dead god.
That is
the
current theory.
They are assumed to have attunement to your realms. Am I correct so far?
So far, you continue to reiterate what was told.
And you want us to retrieve them for you.
This is also correct.
In exchange, you will help us deal with the Gith who wronged you.
And also wronged your plane to the same degree, yes.
So, to my understanding, what you're saying to us is that some of the most powerful beings in the multiverse require us to pick up bits of a dead god and they will reward us by fighting an enemy they already dislike.
The fiend leans forward at this point, the angel kind of taking a moment to. It's almost as if they try to say something, but it doesn't work. Fiend leans forward. I like you, you're cute. Well, except for that half. So, here's the
You're not-
problem.
I just look at,
Okay.
just look and nod and say, "You're not the only lawyer in the room."
Like you. That's why I like you. So, have you seen what happens to someone who breaks the rules but can't actually be tracked down? Who breaks the cardinal rules, the rules of everything? Because that boy in the corner, and they just point towards Wittig. There, lovely little god sends somebody who is particularly designed to say that's not allowed to happen, and they smash whoever they get on, or they erase them from all existence, or they just instantly teleport them back to a place, and they get tried. But we can't go to your plane, and we can't track down the city. They did you a disservice too. We just physically can't get there to do it. Even me, I can only stay so close to her before I eventually molt into ash, and I can't. She's my anchor to this plane. That's the problem. We don't have solid things to keep us here. Because those things aren't ours. They're primarily something else. And they're being used to make it. So, if I were brought here, if I would literally just operated as I was in the room, in the court, I could wander about Faerun at my leisure. But now I can't. I molt way into nothing when I go too far away from her. That's not supposed to happen. I get onto the plane by some means which are entirely allowed to me by my rules. Some other motherfucker gotta put me back. Because I can stay as long as I want. I can choose to leave. But not right now. That's changed. Something's changed that none of us like. And let's be real. Let's be sincere. The gift can just keep coming and bullying you. And sure, you can wave them off a few times, but how much until one more than you gets unlucky? And that. Because she's not attacked any of our planes since the first hit. Just the first daring little moment. She didn't even have to attack some of them because portions of Little Princes and otherwise were all there in Faerun. Then the anchors went down. Now we can't get back. We can't come and collect these things. Because it gets challenging. But you can, for us, we fight the people who took people that some of people of you in the room care about. In addition to the ones who are causing disorder in your plane. They're not going to attack your plane after we're done with them. You get your people back. You can get some semblance of normalcy. And all the rules get put back in place properly. So yes, powerful people have to follow rules, because usually if we break those rules, something inevitable shows up and slaps our sense back into us and sends us on our way, or disposes of us for all time. But now, even if we were allowed to show up, even if we had our rules, if I was summoned by a group of people who got ballsy enough to say my name 3 times in a mirror with ash and chalk and salt, calling me in, I could operate. I'd be gone in 10 minutes. Gone. I wouldn't be able to anchor myself to stay. I'd be pulled back. Only the really, really old ones who are tied to a lot of shit can stay in certain places for certain amounts of time. I can't. My dad's got his rules. He can't leave, quote unquote, the hells. It has to be a portion of the hells himself he gets brought to. Which is why, if you've ever heard the tales of people trying to open portals to the hells, those things would then spread out onto your plane, and he'd be able to walk in that location. Wouldn't be able to go further until it spreads further. But that's not really what he's interested in either. He's more than happy winning the blood war.
And why are the Gith different from the rest of you? They can get to us just fine, but the rest of you can't now that the spires are on our plane? Like, does that not apply to the Gith?
The Gith, to our understanding, these fires were made where the Gith live. Potentially, they could be tied to them, and it could serve as a point for them. Potentially. They could also straight up have made rules that tie everyone else down, keep themselves free of it. We'd love to grab a Gith and ask him, but anytime torch gets a little bit too hard, or investigation into their body gets a little bit too much, they disappear, or they get dead on the spot. Something just snaps and they die. And shoot off they go, and back to wherever they were sent to. Unless someone snags their soul, but you can't snag a soul and keep it without a soul jar. That's when it gets technical. You can hold them in certain places, but it's a lot harder to ask a soul. It gets tricky. It's like trying to get the scent of a perfume from the vapors in a room that the perfume was in. You can get bits, not enough. Also, I'm going to give you credit. You're literally in the room with 2 children of Asmodeus and a Solar, and you say to call us on your shit, and I like you for it.
Thank you. I
I'm just doing my 9 to 5.
I
Can't bother too
appreciate
long.
sitting down with civilized, lawful people for once. But thank you for
Sweetheart,
confirming that.
I'm nothing. I'm not civilized. Thank you. I'm not civil.
I may be lawful, but how dare you call me civilized?
I am a degenerate of the highest order. I just have rules I have to follow.
In the end, I am merely serving as an assistant to our fine king and queen here. However, just to recap for them, we are dealing with people who A, want to be involved in this fight, B, are very wealthy in power, and C, haven't offered us that much. I'm not saying rake them over the coals, but I think you can hold out for a little more.
Make a persuasion check.
Persuasion, why is there so many P's?
We're all thinking it. Just do it. You can do it.
Oh.
All the while you're talking, Fiend is just chuckling and it's just pouring. The wine is going into the cup, but it just pours more than it should and just keeps going and going instead of giggling as you're talking. Sildar and Legacy are looking towards you as Solar. The Solar has the arm folded over onto one side, holding the hand with nothing on it. Again, picking back up the cup. I mean, I'm offering you literal hell machines that you can ride about on. He's offering to bring people back, but it's a lot easier to give when something's gone. But you are in a room with people who have to agree to this kind of thing. If you make a promise, we make a promise. We're doing it in a place where there's people who are watching. Promises have to be kept. So, powerful things? Hell, fine. I tell you what. What do you want, Your Little Majesty?
When you say your little majesty, I assume you're not
Pointing
looking at
straight
me.
at you. Straight at you.
Not my deal to make. Like I said, what the king and queen desire. I am happy
Oh,
to
I know
follow.
what they
in this.
desire. They want their kids back. The end goal is to get everyone back, because the easiest way to do it and the most effective is having people from so many celestial and so many infernal and so many other planes all just pile in at once. Everyone going for different places so that we're not overlapping each other. Because let's be real, a Solar in the middle of battle might just forget he's working with the fiend and swing for his neck again.
They are parents in the end, so if
It's
I
obvious what they
had
want.
to recommend on this deal, how about something for the people of Neverwinter? I'm sure a bountiful harvest, some aid to their woes, is not beyond either of your powers.
Let me get this right. You want a bounty from the hells? I know the whole celestial woobity woo. Look, all your plants are a bit healthier now. Love me more. Thing. That's great. They can. Solar can make that promise all they want. If you
It
want,
is up to you the
if you want boots
details,
from
but there are a
us,
lot of wounded, hungry people in the service of the king and queen, and I would see their subjects looked after to at least some degree.
I mean,
After all, look after the subjects, we can fight better. I think this benefits all parties.
Riddick, you were going to say something?
well, I mean, as much as it has been as of late as well, I mean, possibly with the amount of so-called uh, machines and whatnot you have here in Hell, might be able to help gather resources and help with building and reconstructing of Neverwinter.
You haven't seen how. Okay, I'm going to raise the hand. Fair enough. But if you're coming to me with an agreement, your agreement's request is to help people, then I have to be fair in saying that bringing infernal things and they last too long on your plane, it's gonna leave a stain. Stains that don't come off that quick. So, I can see what you want from us. If anything, what I would be able to offer is, well, I'm not fussed. Machines harvesting the land. They could stain it. Buildings built from machines from hell. Crafted by things of hell. Those being left, gonna be a problem. I could send over so that your people can focus on only building. I could have agents sent in guise to keep people from panicking, and they would be not replacing the soldiers, but taking their position so the soldiers can either help other people or rest. So you don't have your whole kit and caboodle struggling at the same time. But I mean, I'd love nothing more, but you want the deal to help people. And I know it's helped by what you think it is. So I have to be careful with how I agree.
There are different ways each of you can help, and your concern of corrupting the capital is heartwarming. I believe silver does not taint.
Ah, you don't know what Heartrender's made of, you stupid little thing. Bless your heart. Silver gets polluted just as easily as anything else. It's just the thing of silver's a lot easier to clean. It's the easiest way to say it. Silver's a lot easier to clean. Does not mean it doesn't get tainted.
Of course, in the end, the details of how you may help the citizens are a minor addition. In the end, I'm sure you can work that out with the King and Queen on the exact nature of it. But, quite frankly, I found you both quite amicable.
We're both here until we have to get along, which, trust me, for him and me is already a deal breaker because, well, look at us. You got moral ambiguity up here saying, "Look how divine I am, I'll kill you," and me here saying, "Look how fiendish I am, your best friend."
Sorry, King.
No, I'm just going to nod and say, it's been a pleasure. I think I've said everything I need to say.
Go on, go.
Can I me understanding thing. I'm not super, planes literate. Understand you're representing your father. I kind of gesture, so do you speak for all Celestials, or are you representing a specific entity?
At present, I am picked from a conglomerate of different deities from different pantheons who would like a single person who could be sent to agree on matters that would benefit the heavens as best as possible, and also then the mortal plane. I understand that I will work out the details of this with your plane's Neverwinter's royalty, and we can discuss matters that would help your people with bountiful harvest potentials come the next spring, with easier times and easier weathers and winters. We can go from there with additional boons. This is not something which is outside of the purview of us. I've been sent here, little wanderer, by several deities, including Moradin and Barona. Including Odin and Thorm. My primary deity is one that, if you understand the pantheon on which Odin sits, you may guess whose god I am. Furthermore, it is more just for the interest of all of us agreeing to the same matter. It is rare to get people from the varying law and neutrality and chaos to all agree to the same premise, but they have for this. And I was sent to be the neutral for this. As taxing a challenge as this may have been.
I appreciate it. I make eye contact with King, like I want to say more on this, but I'm not going to say it here.
And the fiend just goes, "Alright. Well, none of you fucking eaten. Fair enough. Can't blame you. That door will take you back. It'll take you outside of the hall in Neverwinter, where you'd all wandered in at one point, Legacy threw them open with a big fuffle at one point. Unless you're needed or you want to stay for anything else, feel free to leave. And thank you for being polite guests at the best and honest guests at the worst.
I take this opportunity to stand, and I curtsy deeply. It really was a pleasure. Thank you for your understanding. And I head off to leave.
Raise the hand up. Just so you are. Anyone else going?
Yeah.
Pink
Low,
Puff,
low
Ginger
will,
Puff, the
low will,
machine.
low will follow. Kika, but will bow excessively. Maybe nearly trip over his tail in the process, but then leave.
Take care of that little Archon, yeah?
Was there food on the table at all?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Plenty of
loads.
food.
I'm
Loads.
just gonna
Loads.
I'm gonna be 1 second. I'm just gonna start like piling food onto a plate just across the table, like clearly more than it can
Taking it to
handle
go.
and stuff like that.
Every time you reach for more, the plate on your that's at your hand gets wider to accommodate for more as you go.
Yeah, like until it's like 2 hands.
Until
I'm like,
eventually, like one of the platters for the boards in the middle, you just like have it there.
okay, yeah, yeah, we can go now. We can go.
Little boy knows how to eat. I like it.
I'll just
Hey,
walk over and
people,
go.
love to watch you leave.
I'll just go over and go. Grab like a single grape and go. No, that doesn't do anything for me. Sorry, I'm out.
It actually does.
What? What?
Oh no, it's
And you go,
delicious.
No, no, no. Wait, what? It tastes sweet and refreshing, and there's flavor in your mouth. And you're like, what? What is this? Like a cat that just got cheese thrown on your head. Like
He's partook of the forbidden fruit.
You cannot leave hell.
As a monk, you've got to stay in hell now.
That wasn't a grape. That wasn't a grape. That was a soul.
It's fucking
on the way
trying to
out,
help.
on the way out, not to anyone in particular, but I'm sure everyone can hear, I'll say, I'll be glad to get back to Toriel. Which, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is supposed to be the name of the planet we
Yes.
Yeah,
live on.
Yes, it
name
is
the
the planet.
you're on.
Toril.
As long as I'm pronouncing it right.
You're back. I gotta go grab food.
Toril.
I am looking forward to get back to Toriel.
Night.
I I like the way it turns. It really makes my day.
Your week, your month, or even your year.
Night. Wall is still gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I look out. I don't know where we are.
The moon is there.
Oh no, because you said
In
that
the
you were leaving.
sky,
You said you were
up in the
leaving
mountains.
first, so we all followed you.
She hasn't left.
Okay.
She didn't say
I
she
was-
left. She hasn't. Everyone else did. She hasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I waited till everyone else was gone.
Then yeah.
Night. Think. To it.
Sweetheart, this is fucking crazy. What are you doing over here?
How? What? How are you here? First time she's ever actually telepathically connected with it. Normally he just speaks out loud.
I am stuck looking over a realm I can never have in a lot of places.
Where are we right now?
You're on Mount Celestia.
Oh, fuck. Can you see anything I can't?
I can, but if I tell you what I see, you might turn into a pillar of salt. I'm actually not sure. But I'm not going to risk.
I mean, like, in this room, not in general.
Oh, in this room?
I'm in.
Well, I can see everyone. I can see the three of their true forms that they're there for, and
Right.
huh, that's a lot. Definitely the most powerful people I've ever seen. But there's three heavy
The
hitters in the
Solar?
room. Solar is a nasty motherfucker. I'm glad you
Like
were
bad?
also not bad, as in like if you got on his wrong side.
Or like powerful?
Powerful. If he hit anyone with, he has a bow that you can't see. If he hits anyone with that, they might just drop dead, regardless.
A good thing I didn't cast spells.
Oh, if you did, I would have loved you.
I'm still kind of tempted. I'm not gonna lie.
Why not?
Even with it's more of a helpful spell. I don't know if he needs help.
Who knows?
They need help.
Fun. Wouldn't it be fucking crazy though?
But... I will stand up a little bit dazed. Kind of little curtsy. It was really nice meeting you both.
And the Solar like only slightly tilts the head down, but is watching you this whole time. You're not sure if they. It's a look of someone who's not. You're not entirely sure if they just heard the conversation you had or not.
Probably did. Shit. Gonna do a classic K.
You can just see that they're trying to speak, but you can just see their throat is like as strained, but there's no sound coming out. Their lips aren't opening, but you can tell that they can't.
Okay. Wait, I need to check the wording of one spell, but I am gonna do something. This is a terrible idea.
Why do you always wait for people to not be there to help you?
Because there's reasons for it, I promise. I'm a paranoid, mistrustful, awful person. Right. I kind of put my hand out to kind of shake their hand.
And you extend out the right hand so that their right hand is touched because it's the
Yeah,
left hand
yeah,
that's
yeah.
missing.
It's missing, I remember.
And look down for a moment.
Will for the devil as well, but
You'll shake the hand of the devil.
of course.
Kisses it.
Cute.
We need to talk out of hours, darling. I'm just saying, and they just begin leaning forward towards their plate.
I'll do it for the Solar as well. And as I do, I'll cast Protection from Good and Evil, because I think it will work better than its Restoration will. Because I don't think less Restoration will help with this, but I do think Fresh and Good and Evil might.
What does Lesser Restoration remove?
I think it's like physical
Oh.
Yeah,
conditions.
it's mostly physical. It's like
Is
It's
it
not
charmed?
armor?
it's like blind.
No, it's not. It's blind,
blindness.
deaf, and paralyzed poison.
Yeah, it's all physical.
So I'm gonna go Protection from Evil and Good, because I'm assuming something extra dimensional will do it. It's doing it. That's what it helps with.
One living
'Cause
creature.
I'm also hoping. I'm trying to convey with my eyes that I have a feeling that they know that I'm trying something, that it is good, that it's
As
helpful.
you're looking toward them and you're
It's
trying to give this
restorative.
intention, and you're trying to get this intention, the hand is just extended out. It's extended out calmly and cordially, and their hand more or less clasps entirely over yours, as if covering
way
your
bigger than
whole
me.
palm, so that the light is not emanating as the spell gets cast. Your intentions are surprising. How do you know? I do not mean your friends who sat at the table with you, but your friend who has been sitting in on this entire conversation.
Oh. Is the devil listening to this conversation that we're having?
If they are, they're just like leaning forward into their food.
Yeah, they're at least being kind enough to pretend not to. Okay.
They absolutely are, but they're not engaging. They're not leaning, but they're
Exactly.
definitely...
They're putting up the facade politely. Thank you. Um, I've just been friends with them for a really long time. You know, we just talk.
understand the true intent of what anyone says, and I know when someone is lying.
I mean, that it is a little true, but
But not
they
wholly.
help me out a little bit in
That
there
is
with
true.
magics. Like I was. Never mind.
As you're kind of like looking away a little bit slightly, that right hand gets lifted up and like cups up your cheek just a little bit, your chin up, just to look towards them.
Pure fear.
And there's like almost like a touch, their touch, just like a warmth from there floods you, but not like a overwhelming, not like a too much, just
Like good healing magic.
like a positive wave just washes over you. It's almost like it wasn't even an intent, it's just a natural byproduct. Never give something you are not going to miss. Never give something you can't afford to lose.
Know that.
But you don't know what you can't afford to lose.
I don't know what you mean.
Never lose yourself.
Wait.
Never lose yourself.
I won't.
You're
I
trying
won't.
to. Don't. For your own well-being.
I know what I'm doing.
I wish you did. And just like the hand bones away, and the kind of just like the wing spreads out, just to like get out of your way, to let you leave.
Fuck.
And it's at that moment, the moment that like the finger gets away and the like hand moves, that then you just begin hearing the wine pouring again, as if in that moment time stopped, and nobody else heard anything.
Thank God, because like I said, still there, right there.
They're right there.
Yep.
We don't hear any of that.
Thank fuck. Kind of stand there for a second, a little like stunned. Hey, have a good day. I kind of turn around and nod to the king queen and kind of wink at the devil and head out.
I'll call you.
And the whole time in my head to the moon, I'm like,
And as you go out the door screaming, "Fuck!" We're gonna take a break.
Yeah.
Make it a short break because we'll end up finishing in half an hour.
Yee.
punch it.
Hello.
Welcome back in. So, everyone begins stepping out bit by bit into the hallway. You look behind you. The doorway is open into the into the throne room, essentially. But it is still empty. It is throne room without Sildar, without Legacy, which is almost throwing you off because you're used to always seeing them in Neverwinter in the room, but they're not there. And you look about. Posey is the last one to come out. Comes out maybe like a little minute or two after the rest of you.
Visibly confused.
Interestingly, the first few that do step out, the guards do note. And by the way, Runara is there when you guys step out. Runara, you're like, okay, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to go to the. And then Wittick and King and Chica and Lo all just begin pouring out immediately. And Serenus with a full plate of just so much food, it's fucking ridiculous.
Pog.
I would
Did you just say Pog unironically?
No, I said God.
Poggers.
Oh, good.
I was like, God, yes.
What you want to hear?
Nobody says Pog. Everyone says Froggy Chair.
I joked on my soluble.
Frog?
The tasty soil.
Lo will be very dismissive, going back into the throne room is just a little bit, is somewhat dismissive of everyone, just sort of goes hi, but he's getting out and trying to find somewhere to be on his own for a bit. And I would say Han as well, he's almost gesturing like he's going to take the mask out, but it's almost like a clenched fist.
It's like stopping his force of habit of like he's physically trying to stop himself, but also going, wanting to do it.
Yeah.
It's not. He's not subtle when he does these things. It's just a big display almost. Not intentionally, but a frustrated display. It's just. And it is seen by the rest of you if anyone wants to interact.
That Lo is specifically moving to be on his own.
You have this wide empty hallway, or this wide empty throne room that you step out into the hallway and you turn back into. And you can just hear the sound of your feet, which is the echo of the hooves.
And if no one is going to stop him, Lo will just curl up in a corner and have what I can only describe as a little panic attack.
I mean, Kika kind of like extended out a hand as if she wanted to go after him, but because he looked like he wanted to be alone, she was just kind of like, "Oh, okay, I guess." Not good. So.
The only person who comes out later than any of you guys is about 5 minutes later. Posey comes out.
Wait, how did everyone else come out within like a split second of them going in, but Posey took 5 minutes?
Right.
You okay, Posey? You've been there for a
Yeah,
little
sorry.
while.
Had to check a couple things. I guess can fill you in, Runara. You missed a thing or two.
Okay.
I'll fill Runara in on who we just spoke to, what the kind of deal is that they're kind of negotiating back in there.
What?
I don't know which part you're wanting out because I did it through exposition.
All of it. Imagine I said that after each sentence.
It looks like we have potentially secured allies in our conflict, as well as succor for the citizens of Neverwinter, and I just realised I said sucker because I've played too much of that Final Fantasy.
And in this moment, I have truly won.
Yeah, you don't play a scholar. Fuck. That's getting an ability called sucker. Fuck you.
So
Getting
my
there.
only, yeah, my only concern about this, I guess, while we're still on our own, are we on our own, Das?
The guards are there.
Other than that,
We're walking
Make a
back.
perception check.
perception, eh?
A roll, eh?
Funny. Lots of silent rolling.
I think you're alone.
Great,
No.
good. Love the way you worded that.
There doesn't seem to be anyone around.
Hate you.
So do you touch the door?
Fuck you. So my only real concern with all this is that they said that they were having a harder time like adhering to this plane. And that by returning it we would solve that. We want that to happen? If like devils and things are having a harder time sticking around here, surely that's good?
But is stopping
They
the
are
gift?
still.
Is stopping the gift gonna make it so they can come? The rest of the people come to this plane? Because that's the objective. If that then happens because of that, do we then not stop the gift?
They would still be bound by the inherent rules, one would think. Of course, there is always the chance we're being bamboozled. That is something always to consider. But at some point, you just have to choose who to trust.
If it's true that this happened to all the planes, we have all the planes to pick people to trust from. Hells. No?
I trust the Hells to be lawful.
Trust the Hells to be dishonest.
Certainly. But lawful.
I don't know what to make of Angel. I wish you'd been there, Runara, to be honest.
Well, it sounds like you had it covered.
I don't know that
I had to
did.
protect the you know what from you know.
No, and I do appreciate it. Don't know. I don't know about this. I also don't know if there's another way.
Well, let's think. So the spire that we have, do we know what plane that is tuned to? Because let's think about this.
Yes, we do.
Kels reversely flicks through notes.
Airplane.
Because
The
let's
one,
think
the one
about
that we
this.
have on our person is the airplane, or the one they had was the
The
airplane.
one on our person I'm talking about. I don't know.
So which one was the transportation one? Is that the one me and Runara have, or is that the one that Legacy has?
Legacy has transportation.
Legacy has that
Yeah,
one.
so
That
that's
was the, that
the
was the
airplane.
first one.
No, we don't know what.
We've got the
ours is.
evocation on, right?
Yeah, we have evocation.
We don't know.
Because
If anything, we
based
know
on-
what. If anything, we know what it's not. We know it's
we
not.
know what it isn't.
We know it's
yeah.
not the airplane, and apparently it's not the hells or the heavens.
Hells. Oh yeah, this is
well,
what I was going to
because I'm thinking this is why I just half the party. This is why their auntie couldn't stay here, right?
Yeah, this is also what I was thinking.
Yeah, I had the same
So-
thought. I was wondering
so-
maybe if we could find the one that's for the Feywild, maybe
Getting like the
that would
airplane,
be
getting
helpful.
like the Feywild.
They did
like, for your-
specifically mention that the Fey leaving the Feywild is as a plucked flower.
Well, the planar interruption probably isn't helping.
Certainly not.
So I mean maybe if we could find out which one. I mean, who knows? Maybe we already have it. That would be cool. But if we
Well,
could
how do we find out which one this is?
get someone who knows what they're doing to look at it?
Is the doorway still open that they came out of?
Nope. They literally fell out of the air.
Did Legacy or anyone come out as well?
Sildar, Legacy, and Crowan have not come out.
They're
Crone
finalising
was
the
in there.
agreement. Yeah, Crone was in there.
I'm
So,
I'm here
so
with
we-
these big booty bitches succubi.
so we have it on the table. One, between Mirabar and the Lurkwood, that is for Celestia. That is the one that,
The one near.
that's the
Parnas.
one that Nezanar was meant to get. And then,
It's the one near Parnas, right?
the one near Parnast is the one for the house.
Yeah. Well,
Don't know if Nezanar is still going to do that, but maybe we
Could find
either could go
out.
instead, or instead could deliberately not go.
was Nesnard definitely going to that one?
There's a question mark next to it in my notes. So I also know that he had something else going on.
We were going to send him there, but we had to go to
Fandolin.
Mandolin first.
Vandalin first, so that he had the rock.
For
Oh yeah,
past
we were gonna
travel.
go. Fuck off. We were gonna go there, right?
Yeah, we were gonna go to Fandolin. We didn't.
Oh,
We didn't
gosh.
succeed the first time.
Tried many times to go to
Or
Fandolin.
the
Quite
second
possible
time.
the king and
Fuck.
queen will return with us.
I mean,
Return to give us a mission to acquire one or both of these missing spires.
So it's like late, right?
It
It's
is
like we're
now,
tired.
because you guys have traveled back and to and back from Pragma today, and you also had these conversations. You come out to, well, you stepped in and came out at the same time, so it's about 9, which is already dark. It's not pitch black, but it's dark. There's already the curfew of lights being put out on sconces about places so that fires don't spread or anything else. And the nighttime activities are taking away. You know that it was the afternoon, like the sun was setting when you guys did land in. And by the time you guys get up here to here, it was already starting to get a bit darker.
So we could like head out somewhere and just take a swing. We could head to Fandolin. We could wait here. We could rest here and then head up to Fandolin first thing.
I
We might
think
be
we should
discussing
rest
this for
here.
forever.
I'd still like
If
to go
the
to
king-
Fandolin.
how would
Oh.
I? But
Yes, I
I
think
want
that's
to
the
sleep
right
first.
Yeah, I think we should sleep first. One, because I also need to wait for Monstron to be able to come back.
I just feel like there's this well of like power within me that without sleeping, I just can't access it. You know. You guys
Long
there's
rest,
something-
please.
do you guys get
Seen
that feeling as well
something deep
sometimes?
I feel like if we
Yeah.
have a rest,
No, I
we
don't.
could reach a new level of potential.
I think something's like awoken inside of me. You know.
I mean, okay, damn, this is all really intense suddenly. Yeah, fine. Okay, we can sleep here and then head out for Fandolin in the morning. I feel like we had this conversation already. I feel like we've had this conversation
No.
a couple
No,
times.
I
Actually.
don't think we did.
No, we
No.
definitely didn't.
I think that's just deja vu. I don't think
Honestly.
it's actually happened.
We
Deja
didn't have
vu.
this conversation.
I know we definitely did.
Speaking of,
Even
how
when you went
did-
around time, we still did have this conversation.
Yeah, but it was different.
Speaking of
Seconds.
excursions, I didn't really end up getting a chance to find out how your excursion went.
Oh right,
While I was
I'll tell
busy
you.
doing research.
Looks at Runara.
Well, exposition acting on Runara's behalf.
Just on a side note, because I'm not blind as a bat, do I notice Runara's acting weird?
Well,
I'd say make a deception check versus an insight. Because you are hiding something, because you are the only person here who's really aware.
I wouldn't
Maybe.
normally. King's not normally suspicious of her allies, but I just feel like with Runara, it's hard not to tell.
I'm 9. I'm lazy and just
The
press
9.
this one and click on this. Yeah.
Wow.
You are unsure why.
I'm
For
your
fairness,
son.
should me and Widdick also make deception checks?
Well, are you acting weird about it? I'm
Oh.
acting weird about it.
Okay.
I'll
Never mind.
say, I'll say, whilst one or two people are kind of giving you a weird vibe, but while you've been here, like, probably might be staring a little bit too long at you at some point, but, you also just went through everything with the hells, that was the thing. Widdick just tends to stare at you for a while as if he's waiting for you to make a move, but he always is like that. It's his chest stare.
yeah.
It's intense. Runara, anytime
He has
she's
his eye
not-
on you.
anytime Renara is not directly talking to someone, her eye kind of just wanders towards you. And more importantly, she is trying to, whenever you do turn, she's trying to hide the fact that she's doing it.
Runara, is everything okay?
What do
You
you mean?
didn't enter with the rest of us,
No, I didn't
and
want
you've
them to
been
get the
behaving weirdly
spire.
since you came back.
What?
Yes.
Also, we don't know where she got
Unequivocally.
pepperoni and chips, but she's currently eating just.
I'm just hungry.
What?
I've never seen someone suspiciously eat a bag of Doritos before.
Question not my tasty soluble. Always distrust his
It's because
suspicious Doritos.
in real life, I mean, especially, so this is my dinner.
Oh, god damn it.
Okay.
Everyone disliked that.
Mm-mm.
Well, whatever it is, if you need anything, don't hesitate to ask.
Oh, we do need something.
That is-
Can you identify all of this stuff?
Certainly.
The pose he has on her, I forgot about it entirely,
Well,
to be honest.
Yeah, all the stuff I identified before, but I didn't.
In the other timeline, yeah.
Yep.
You now have them identified.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that. No, I've seen that potion before. I'm pretty sure that can let you read minds. I'm not sure. Though. Double check. Double check.
Oh, wouldn't that
Do
be
you
perfect?
actually say that? Because you're going to get the weirdest look when she confirms that.
Well, the potions of detect thought have a distinct color and distinct thing. It would not be out of the realms of possibility that.
No, certainly not. It's just
like
that.
someone saying that it's like, oh, that car has like a certain engine in it. You open it up, that's that certain engine.
It's more of like, Renara, I didn't know you knew anything about alchemy.
I didn't know you knew anything about cars.
Impressive.
No. Just like that. But yeah, Potion's got some more stuff for you to.
Very well. But
It's
yeah, that will
supposed-
mostly keep me distracted from the whole thing.
Supposed to be carrying around this big fuck off shield the whole time.
Strapped to her
Fucking
back.
nerd. You fucking nerd.
Oh yeah, it's basically like a fucking tower shield, wasn't it?
But yeah, I get it all identified.
Cool. I'll properly lay it
On
because
the
I
sides
have one
of
last two
session,
things I
who
want
gets
to
what?
check into, so they're good.
Scroll of Dimensional Rupture, Scroll of Soul Grip, Spellguard Shield,
Yeah, I
Potion
keep
of
getting
Mind
the
Reading,
scrolls. Holy shit, yeah.
the Ghostly Flintlock Pistol.
Bang bang.
Got a gun.
You have a gun! No!
No!
Kika's got a gun.
Kika's not getting this gun.
But yeah, I feel like identifying all these things, because it takes like 10 minutes a pop, will
We back up.
distract her enough, especially with that new necromancy spell and everything, will distract her enough to take her off the trail of anything.
Cool. And as you begin identifying, eventually you all make your ways to, in varying ways, Low in the corner for as long as he feels. Eventually he may go or not.
Yeah.
You'll find yourselves eventually to rest.
When Lo comes back, he is trying to cover his face with his hand, quite obviously. Not using the mask, but
Physically covering his face.
looking
like he's
away.
tired and trying to rub his eyes or like turning to the side a bit.
Yeah,
Hiding.
hiding.
As you guys are there, all together, Someone's going to need to help Serenus with this plate of food. It's fucking massive, and it smells good.
Mine.
That's not. Oh, go near it.
You just hear from a pair of hands and legs.
Serenus, if you was a polar bear, that might be easier to carry.
If you're a polar bear, it would probably be easier to eat all that.
Oh, I wouldn't eat it. I don't know where it's come from.
Although looking
come
at the
from
dish,
hell,
I'm
or
not
no?
sure a polar bear would be sufficient.
I wouldn't eat that.
Did you leave anything in the hells?
Footprints and happy memories.
Maybe.
That is a joke.
I wouldn't know to ask that, but I'm not high enough intelligence.
Make a religion check if you want to.
Oh,
I feel
me?
like you want to validate asking your question.
Sure.
I'll let you roll for it if you don't think you'll be able to pull it off.
Yeah, fuck, I'll ask it. Serenus, when you're done with your food, can I have the plate?
Sure.
Thank you.
Bit odd, but okay.
I fucking love you, you son of a bitch.
Kay's playing 9D chess again.
Oh,
No.
it fucking is. I know the son of a bitch is
Just
thinking.
casually having a plate attuned to the hills, you know. No beer.
Could be useful.
Or Celestia, depending on where that place actually was.
Technically
Well-
neither, but also sort of both.
Hey, free
Well,
dummy point.
I think it was the hills at the first, and then it was sort of.
Fucking kick in the
Yeah.
door.
It's free
Hey,
dummy
we're
point.
here.
He's like, hey, here's the city of this. Oh, well, you're definitely not on the second plane. And then it's like, oh, let's do it. Okay, you move.
Gonna
Can I
kick it.
ask- could I see the moon on the display as well?
Did you look for the moon on the display?
No.
Shame.
I was busy.
You were.
Why do I feel like
Should've
that plate's
checked.
going to end up? Why do I feel like
Jekyl's
that plate's
plate.
going to end up being identified as, the plate of gluttony or some such nonsense?
It's
You
up
know,
to you.
we're just
It's
gonna-
up to you if you're going to identify it.
Just gonna kick in the door one day.
I'm not being asked to
when-
identify a plate.
I would say, from where it was fallen and where you were sat, you were looking out. You would have seen it. It was there.
Oh shit. Good. Mm-hmm.
Especially
Yep.
if you have a decent enough perception. Yeah, it was there.
Cool.
Did Posey include the bit about the moon in her?
Hell no. Of course she didn't. Actually,
Yeah. Me? To your team noble friend? You keep this secret from me?
Fake
You keep,
news.
you keep secret from me? Unfriend for life.
Fake news.
No
Also,
one
my
here
part of
keeps
Team Normal
secrets
now
from each
again, or
other.
no? Or
no, you were
No.
never part of Team Normal. I'm
There,
sorry.
damn it.
I-
there
I
is
tried
no
to get you-
team
I tried
normal,
to get you,
guys. there
You're,
is.
you're a talking robot.
I'm probably offhandedly mention it and keep. Not that I had a conversation, but that like when the scene changed, I kind of mentioned that it was there.
Hmm.
Because I want to see what Runara's reaction is to that.
Yeah, I know this. I know it's just say up. don't
Make
react.
imposing roles on ourselves.
I don't react. I just let
Okay.
you. Right, I let you just carry on with the conversation.
Lo,
I'm definitely intending to go talk to her. Yeah.
Lo will let Puck come out from under his coat. Still not.
Moment he kind of like gets a little bit free from yourself, he just like puts a hand to the side of your face. Come here, you fucking.
Lo just accepts.
Yeah, yeah. You're right, bud. I will say that after it gets cleared off, because it eventually will. Okay, marked on that you have a plate of Yalgas.
Who?
UK, you said you're taking it.
No, a plate of who?
Kumstuff.
Yalgas.
Who does this plate belong to?
Hoopst.
You might have to
No.
spell that for him.
No, you don't. I've got it.
How do
You're
you
better than
think
me,
it's
then.
spelled?
No, just fucking spell it, please.
Yalgas. Carl's going, yeah, I had that fucking right in my head. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, fuck you.
You're my friend. Of course I'm gonna spot this shit.
Abusing the cluster.
Someone needs to scream at me doing.
Plate of Yalgus.
Okay, so they're going to be negotiating for a while. Was the plan for us to reconvene for final and plan in the morning? And we all get some sleep?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Sleep would be good. Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
At dawn, we plan.
At dawn,
Well,
we plan.
We've already got a plan. It's to go to...
At
Well,
At
no.
dawn, we maybe head out pending more impeding circumstances. And I will kind of, as I head out, I'll just kind of like pat Low on the arm and just head out.
Actually, Lo would sort of flinch a little bit on being touched, but then he will immediately look back and then basically facepalm.
She's gone. She only did that on the way through, but
She tapped you as you passed. Everyone else got to
just
see
like
it, though.
reassuring little pat.
I'm following Posey.
I'm gonna go find a roof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there'll be a priest waiting for you.
No, you okay?
Bluebird, don't let me turn into that.
Turn into what?
Whatever they were.
Why would you do that? You're you.
I can't. I'm technically from that, you know. It's
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm not. And then just hands in face.
No, that's okay though. That's people do that. You know, everybody's from different places, and sometimes people want to stay there, and sometimes they don't. That's okay. You don't have to let it, like, bug you down.
Bluebird, what I mean to say is this. When you come from something, people think that you are a certain way.
Really? You think I don't know that?
I know you know, but I don't want to be this thing that people think I am as a yeah. Cause I'm not that. I'm not. And again, he's almost gesturing for the mask again, but holding himself back. I'm not.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
No, you can see that. You get to pick where you want to be, and that's great. Great that you
But-
get. It's great that you get to choose. Because not everybody does.
Bluebird, I can't control what others think of me.
No, no one can.
That's the problem. When people think tiefling, most of them think that you're a tiefling, therefore you are that. And people make judgments based on that.
I know. People make judgments about a lot of things.
It's hard. It's hard.
I know. I know. And a lot of people never seem to care about that.
Just don't. I don't know what I am, Bluebird. I just don't know. If I am that, then God knows I can't protect you if that's the sort of person I am. But I'm not that. But
Well then you know that you're not that. And if you don't know, then you get to find out. Which is great. It's great that you get to find out. That sounds like an adventure.
pretty funny adventure so far. I mean, I don't know how many times I've cried. I don't know how many times I've just collapsed in a heap somewhere. That have been. I mean, there's this little dude. I mean, I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean, you're cool and everything. Remind me next time we find a bakery. We're getting cookies, okay? But
Loyalty, if I may. When you're having a conversation, it can help to listen and not just talk. And listen to what's being said. He just kind of just pats you on the cheek. And he's just like staring at Kika, giving her a soft smile. Alright. I'm gonna make an executive decision. You're both getting sausages and bacon and rashers, getting a pint of water, and you go in bed. You had a date. How's that sound for both of you?
Sounds pretty good.
you're good.
Let's go. And he like hops between like the sides of the top of the head, like yeah, and he's just like holding the hair. Come on, geek.
Thanks, Bluebird. I'm not used to being told that about myself.
Well, yeah.
And
Everyone makes their way.
I was going to add on to that because Blow was going to go quite close to her and just go. And from the sounds of it, I'm going to need a lot more of that. and just opens his arms out as if to hug.
She gives you a hug, but you can feel that, like, she's not as into it as she normally is. She's a little bit resigned.
We'll work this out together, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
And everyone makes their way. And that's where we're going to end the session. Thank you all so much for watching. It is, as always, an absolute pleasure. I have never, I think, drank a half pint of this in one slug, but I did. We may not have our stream next week.
No.
If we do, it'll be at best a muted stream. And we won't have any D&D either. And that's fine. So we might pick this up in 2 weeks' time. Take care, everyone. Love you all. Be safe out there. See you next time.
Bye.
My dudes.
Bye!
Bye.
Bye.